character, Ian Murphy, came to me in a dream and said, "I'm not done. I have more
Really?
story." Yeah. So I wrote the second book, and then I have a book group where I live in some Prairie who've read both books. And after meeting with them and talking about the second book, Out of Darkness, they said, "We need to hear more. We don't think the story's done. We want to know what happens." So that led to the third book.
Excellent. I have trying to prepare for Lake Fly. I started reading Murphy's Troubles.
Okay.
I think I'm about halfway through it, and yeah, your characters are definitely ones where you're going to want to keep hearing more stories about them and having them
Thank you.
into conflict.
I appreciate that. Although I have to tell you and even my book group in Sun Prairie, after the third book, I am done with that character.
And why is that?
Because I feel like he's told his story, and I have to agree to them to the point where he did need to make a final transition, which he does in the third book. And now that he's made that, I would like to write something other than about him.
Some new challenges.
Some new challenges, that's right. I'll still write historical fiction, but I don't know if it will be about the Irish or not.
So it could be anything else?
Anything else, yeah. But I also am fascinated with that period amount, the revolution in American history, because so many things came together in such a unique way, and how that all happened is fascinating. And think about the intellectuals we had to help form our country. It's just, how did that happen? And even to write fiction around that, I think would be fun.
Yeah, they were people that created our country were so well read.
Yes.
They knew about philosophy and just the great thinkers of the day.
Right, yeah. Well, I mean, look at Benjamin Franklin. You know, he was a journalist. He was a scientist. He started the first library in America, and he's one of our founders. I mean, how lucky could a country be?
Yeah, just imagine if we were being founded today.
No, let's not.
Yes. Dystopian future.
Yeah, that's right. It would be, I'm afraid, yeah.
So how did you get interested in Ireland and the Irish and their plight?
Actually, it's quite a story. Our youngest son, when he graduated from high school, his very good friend was Irish and still had family living in Ireland. So the boys decided that their gift to themselves would be to go and live in Ireland and use Ireland as a base and then travel around Europe for a summer. What they didn't understand was that his relatives expected that they would work on the sheep farm as part of their stay. So they had quite an experience there, and they had a great time. But right before they were ready to come home, they thought they would be able to get a green card and stay and work for a year. Well, at that time period, they weren't issuing green cards. So that didn't happen, but boys being boys, they got into a snooker game, and my son lost all the money he had saved up for his plane ticket home in the snooker game.
Really?
So he called me on the phone and he said, "Dad, this is what happened. I'll be honest with you. I'm sorry, but I need the money to, you know." So of course I sent it to him. But then when he came home, for reasons I've never understood, he decided that if he brought me a stack of Irish newspapers, that would placate me. And it turned out he was partially right. And I was fascinated by these newspapers, and their journalism is much different than ours. Even in their strictly journalistic pieces, they're kind of op-ed in the way that they write. And one of the pieces was about a little girl, a 12-year-old girl, that was injured in a peace zone in Belfast. And in Belfast, what they've done is they've created zones where, in theory, they agree that they're not going to have any violence. But being Irish, they always violate that agreement. And so this was a true story about a girl who was injured in one of those. And I started thinking, what would it be like for a family to live there and have a little girl that got injured? What would that be like? And as I imagined that was the core of the story of the first book. Because that happened to a family in my book. Yeah. So that's how I got started.
It sounds like your son might be a character.
Yeah, my son is a character. Yeah, still is a character, yeah.
Rex, you live in Sun Prairie, and
That's correct.
and you have a radio show.
I do. Prairie has a community radio station, 103.5 point FM, the Sun radio station. We've been operating for about a year and a half now, and it's a totally volunteer operation. We do have an executive director and a few staff. We also run a cable TV network out of there that's specifically for middle grade school kids called Kids 4. And then they do community things like they record the city council meetings and the school board meetings and all the sports activities in town. So we do both.
It's all volunteer.
All volunteer. We've got about 40 volunteers right now that make it all happen.
And getting the kids involved with it.
And getting the kids involved. It's amazing. It's amazing what the kids can do. I did an interview with a 12-year-old girl, and she knocked my socks off.
Oh, really?
I wanted to interview her when we got done with the process. Yeah.
So, what are some of the people that you have interviewed?
Okay. For example, I've interviewed Emily Auerbach. She's a English professor with the University of Wisconsin. She has started a program called the Odyssey Project. And it's specifically designed for people who are economically challenged, who are likely not to have a college experience in their life. And what the program does, it's a year program, they have to qualify for it, and then she runs the class like a college class. But interestingly, because of that experience, over the years, she's had like 6 students graduate from college as a result, some even getting their PhD.
Really?
Yeah, it's just an amazing program. And again, all the professors that work with her are volunteers for it. They meet every Wednesday night. And again, because they come from an economically challenged background, they always get a meal. And I'm in a book club with Emily, and it's a big book club. There's like 50 of us. And so we always get together and we work to provide at least one meal for the Odyssey group. Yeah, it's quite a program.
Sounds like it. And I should point out that your radio station is online, it streams.
Yes.
And
you can stream at www.sunprairiemediacenter.com. And you just go to the center of the page and hit live stream, and we're there.
So, because if you're outside of Sun Prairie, you're not going to be,
you're not going to hear it.
Right? But you can get it.
Live stream.
Okay.
Yeah. All around the world, live stream. Yeah.
So when did you start writing, and what interested you about writing?
Well, it's one of those things that you say to yourself, when I'm older, I'm going to write. And I always told myself that. So what I did while I was still working full-time is I would go to the Annual Writers Institute every year. That was my gift to myself. And it was during that time that my son went to Ireland, and so I got the idea for it. And it was just a desire inside. And I was very fortunate to take a class by Professor Laurel York, who had a unique way of teaching. What she would do is every week she would say, all right, we're going to learn this craft. You're going to learn point of view this week. So we would have to write 3 pages demonstrating to her that we could write that particular craft element. And at the time, I experimented with everything. First, I was going to write sci-fi, because I love Ray Bradbury. And I wrote some sci-fi, and it was terrible. So then I decided I would write history, straight history. And so I researched Benjamin Franklin, and I would write my weekly 3-page pieces on it, and that was just terrible, too. And then it was when my son came back with these papers, and I came up with this character, Ian Patrick Murphy, and it just went click. So that's what got me started. It took me 10 years to write the first book. So I was still working full-time at that point. And then after I left the University of Wisconsin where I worked, after I retired from there, then I had more time. And the second book only took me about a year to write. And the third book is taking me about the same amount of time.
And how did it go from finished manuscript to book on the shelf?
Very hard.
No, I think,
actually,
yes, I know that.
If it wasn't for self-publishing, to be very honest with you, I don't think I would be published. The data says that of all those people that are writing, about 1% end up getting published. And at the time that I was getting ready with Murphy's Troubles, my first book, Great Space was just coming on.
Mm-hmm.
It's a wholly owned subsidiary of Amazon. And what they offer is you can submit your book in a normal manuscript form. They have the programming to turn it into the book form. So I worked with Great Space to do that and published the first book.
I did that as well.
Oh, okay.
Yes, with my book, The Tao of Apathy. And and it'll go through, and then you can get approved,
Right.
or you can do it online, and they will also point things out. They'll
Yes,
say,
they will.
okay, we saw this, we saw spelling errors.
Yes.
They really want to help you out as much as they can.
And they will give you that editorial team, which
Did-
I really
did you
relied
win with
on.
that?
I did. Yeah.
I did not,
Okay.
but I think that was a mistake. I think the way you did it is the right way to do it, just so that you make sure that it's polished and it's ready, which my book is now.
Okay.
But I was a complete novice, and
Right.
I did a kind of an experiment to present at the Lakefly Writers Conference. So I revised it, and then I'd get the proof,
Uh-huh.
and then it just, there's so many mistakes. Like I didn't even justify it.
Oh,
Okay, and
yeah.
then I investigated and I found out, you want the right font
Correct.
to make it
Correct.
easy, readable, and easy on the eyes. And so, if you don't have a lot of capital, Create Space is the way to go.
Right.
But using those editorial services, they're worth the money.
They are worth the money. And, I really, overall, didn't find them all that expensive. And what I liked is things came in chunks. So, when I got to the book to a certain point, they said, okay, if you want to do this type of editing, here's 3 options for you. Choose one. And that's what I would do. Although, I don't know about you, but I got tired of all the decisions. And some things, they use language that you don't normally use. There's these little things in the book that separate spaces, and I honestly forget what they called them to this day. And so, but I had to decide what kind of thing like that I wanted,
Uh-huh.
All I really knew that I wanted is I wanted recycled paper, and I wanted it to be an off yellow or a brown versus white, because I'd read that's what you wanted.
Yeah, cream color.
So, yeah.
And then after that, you're in charge of your book.
Right.
The traditional publisher, they'll print as many as they want, and then
Right.
they're done. Whereas you can keep, out there, you're here today
Right.
at the table selling your book.
Yeah.
You believe in your book, and you're willing to do what it takes to keep selling it. So
Right.
you're not going to take it down.
No.
It's printing on demand, so
Yep.
you don't have 5,000 books
That's
sitting
right.
in the closet of your house.
The part I do like about it was what you just mentioned, having total control. I've got a friend who got a contract for 3 Cozy Mysteries. She wrote her 3 Cozy Mysteries under this ridiculous time frame, and then her publisher dropped it. So they said, well, they're not selling what we expected. Well, she never got told what the expectation was. And now her books are out of print after just having a 3-book contract. That makes no sense to me.
And I went to a session early this morning, Jill Swinson Books. She was very informative, and she talked about getting an editor and submitting, your unsolicited manuscripts or even solicited. And it's such a hard process, and the industry is in such a state that is very difficult. That it's all numbers.
Yeah.
So you send in your query letter, and if it's something that they think they want to do, the next step is they put it into some sort of profit or losses formula.
That's right.
And so, and the industry, the publishers and stuff, it's so tight, they have to focus on the money.
They do.
So
They do.
it's not like they're evil.
No.
But they have to look at the bottom line.
That's right.
And so a perfectly good book, they may say no to. Whereas if you're doing it like you did it, you believe in your book, you have a good book, and you can spend the time to make it profitable.
That's right. That's exactly right. I have another friend who is a retired cop, So he wanted to write true crime, and he went through the courses, and he went back to school and writing courses, and he got picked up by an agent and a publisher because they had lost their last true crime person. The timing was perfect. The first book went fine. The second book, they changed the title, they changed the main character, and then he had to write to their spec. And then the third book, they said, no, we don't want that character anymore. You have to write a completely different kind of book. So he's writing that one, and then even he said he's washing his hands of it, and he's going to go the self-publishing route, just to get the artistic control.
And I think the key also is that you're out there marketing yourself and your book. Right. How do you do that then? Come to conferences?
A number of ways. I have a website, and I do write a blog.
And what's the website?
Oh, www.rexowens.us.
Okay.
Thank you. So I do have a website. I do write a blog weekly, so that's one route. I go to a lot of conferences. I go to a lot of libraries to make presentations. Because I write about Irish history, there's a conference in Chicago called the Irish Book and Music Festival every year, and I've been there 3 consecutive years, and that's a good place for me because all the Irish people are there. I've been at the Milwaukee Irish Fest, which is a good place to go. I've been here at the Oshkosh Irish Fest. I've even been in Irish pubs here in the States.
Really?
Oh yeah, that's a good place to go.
That sounds like it.
Have a little music and a little reading about books, and everybody's happy. So yeah, that's typically how I do it.
And I think they tell you so much, even nowadays, if you're going with a publisher, traditional publisher, you have to do so much. You have to be on Facebook and Twitter.
That's right.
You have to do that anyway. So you might as well kind of be in charge, and hopefully more money will come to you.
That's right. Especially for those of us in the first-timer category, they don't give you a marketing budget. Yeah, they tell you where they want you to go, but it's on your dime. Absolutely right.
And there's ways to do it very well, but I really think that social media really doesn't do direct sales. I think it's word of mouth and meeting people, getting out and doing it.
Right. Now, the one area that they say works is direct email, and I can't get myself to do that yet because I'm just not comfortable sending out an email to 500 people that I don't know promoting my book, because my view is, well, how would I react if I got that? And it wouldn't be nice. So they say that's successful. I don't know.
Yeah, so you almost have to have your mailing list and mail it out.
Right.
Yeah. And I don't think even emailing it out, sending out the email is necessarily difficult. So, we're writers, we're kind of private people, so if somebody comes up to us and says, "Oh yeah, can I have your email? Can I have your information?"
You're not going to give it to them.
Yeah, and you worried that you're overstepping your bounds.
That's right. I did try on Goodreads. I'd read someplace where if you ran a contest and gave away your book, that would be like one way to get reviews, and then that would generate interest. I did that. I gave away 20 books. I got 2 reviews out of it, and they were mediocre reviews. So giving away 20 books wasn't a big investment. But, there's like 10,000 people on Goodreads, and they do tell you that your percentage of response is 0.001. So out of 10,000 people, you're probably going to get 10. And that's about what I experienced.
I also tried the Goodreads giveaway. I did 10 books. I think I also got 2 or 3 reviews.
Right.
And reviews are just so important, so that was money well spent. I also heard somebody said it doesn't give away 5 books.
Right.
I did a second one. I haven't got any reviews from that yet.
You haven't.
So I think I will try it again.
Yeah.
Just because reviews are so important on Amazon.
Did you set a time frame for your Goodreads review? It seems like mine was like 6 months or something, and then it expired. I always wondered if I should have gone back and made it a year or something. I don't know. Did you do that?
So like they had a year to review it?
Yeah.
No, and I think it seemed like I kind of got, maybe it's a certain amount of luck.
Okay.
Because at least one person, maybe two of people, actually had a blog where they reviewed it.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so that was nice. She reviewed it on Goodreads and Amazon, and she put it on her blog so that I could do it.
Right.
And I don't know, you get exposure because for them to join the giveaway,
right?
You can. They have to say they're interested in reading your book,
right?
So it's at least a contact.
Yeah. And
somebody else gave the advice that now you have a list of people that didn't win, so go back and contact them.
Oh yeah.
That seems tedious.
It does. Yeah. Now the one thing that's concerned me, and I don't think it affected you, but when Amazon came out with the policy that they wouldn't publish or post any reviews where they couldn't document that the book was bought through them. And I don't know about you, but frankly, most of my book sales are from me.
Yes.
And that's legit because I'm ordering them from CreateSpace. So, there's that documentation. And I don't understand. I understand from a business model why they want you to buy from them. But I've already bought from them.
So that's what you think. They say that they're doing that so that they don't read out reviews, like you had your brother or your sister review it and stuff. But you just think it's a way to get more sales.
I do. I really do. Because my reviews came from a variety of people. Some people I knew, some people I didn't know at all.
And when we are giving these giveaways in hopes that somebody reviews it, it's still honest because I send a thank you letter and please review my book.
Right.
But please acknowledge, and most people do. By the way, I got this book free.
Oh.
So that it is, and so people at least know that they got a free book.
That's a good idea. And I did have one reviewer say I bought the book from the author. So.
And that's why they did that.
Yeah, and that's why they did that. I'm glad they did that. That one was posted then. Yeah.
Just getting those reviews is so important today.
Yeah.
I also, you as well have your book hard copy and as a Kindle, as an e-reader.
Yep.
And so on Amazon, I did the Amazon giveaway.
Okay.
I did that a couple of times. The convenience thing about that is that it's the e-version, right? So I would drop down. My book is only $1.99.
Okay.
Because I'm not trying to make a lot of money.
Right.
I want people to buy the book, and I realize that I'm competing with and more well-known people.
Right.
So it's not that I don't believe in the book, but I'm just more concerned with selling it.
Sure.
But still, so it's $1.99.
Right.
I dropped it down to the lowest price. Yeah. Gave it away. So I gave away 20 copies. It's $20.
Right.
But I didn't get any reviews from that either.
Oh, yeah. Now, with my second book, Out of Darkness, I used something called assisted publishing, which is kind of a hybrid. What that publisher does is she did the editing. She helped arrange for the cover page. She had the proofreading done. And then it gets actually published under her company's name, which happens to be CK Publishing. Then all those things that you have to do directly with CreateSpace, someone else is doing, which is a great model for me. And just this summer, Ingram ran a special where you could convert your CreateSpace file to an Ingram file at no cost. So she wrote me an email and said, you got to do this. I attempted to do it several times and didn't get it to click, but she did it for me. And then that opens up a whole new...
I was going to say, what's the advantage of the Ingram?
The primary advantage is that's where libraries order from. Now, my library at home carries my books. I didn't ask them how they got them. They didn't get them directly from me. I'm assuming they ordered them from Amazon. But for whatever reasons, libraries don't like to order from Amazon.
No, they don't. Oshkosh Public Library has mine, but I know the librarian, and I put my book in there.
That's right. And then Ingram has their own. Ingram is also good at supplying the brick and mortar stores like Barnes and Noble, and even the independent stores. And about a month ago, I got my first notice of my first Ingram book sale.
Oh,
But it's only been one, so. But I suppose that's one I might not have gotten. I don't know.
It might just be the start.
Yeah, who knows?
So did you have to buy a certain amount, or is it printing on demand?
On demand. Yeah, just like Create Space. Yeah. And usually they would charge to convert the file, but they were just running a special for some reason. I frankly don't know why. And there was no fee, so it was worth it.
So you think your third book, you're also going to go with the hybrid?
Yes. Yeah. I will try a traditional publisher just because.
Yes.
You want to try. And I'll wait several months. If I don't get a nibble, I'll just go the useless publishing route.
And I mean, hopefully the sales of the first two books is like, you've proven yourself.
Right.
And that they're good books, and you're willing to get out there and do a little bit of hustling for them.
Yep.
Which is important, is being able to.
Yeah. Now, I will admit to you now, I have this trepidation that when you have a trilogy, how do you price those? And how likely is it that somebody's going to buy an entire box set of 3 of your books and read 3 of your books? Like I'm James Madison, right? Right. So, and I've got a dear friend that is very good at marketing. She's promised to help me put together a plan to do that. So, we'll see.
Yes. We interviewed, Dixie and I, a while ago, KW Pendorf.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, she's here tonight. She's in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And she is going to have many books in this series.
Yeah, 9 or 12 or something.
Yeah, 9 or 8. Each for each realm of the Viking gods.
Right.
Which is a great concept.
Yeah.
And I forget the game that's involved with it, but there's an ancient game involving blocks.
That's right.
We heard her talking about that, and hopefully I can have KW on and hear about this more, but she'll have her trilogy, or even just her first 2 books. There's two books are out.
Okay.
And then she's going to bundle that together with one of those games.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yes. Yeah. So that you get both books and you get the game.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. That's what we have to come up with as authors. Little things to make us unique and attract attention. The two main marketing objectives. Yeah.
So do you have your third book written?
I have the first draft written. It's being beta read right now, and I'm going through and I did a concept edit, I did a theme edit, I did a plot edit, and a character edit, and now I'm going through and doing the line editing, which I liken to having your teeth pulled without notification. But you have to do it, and I want to do that myself before I release it to a professional editor. So I hope to have those things ready by June. I'd like to target publishing by late November, because that's great for book sales in the holidays. And when my first book came out, it came out in November, and it was right before the holidays, and I sold a lot of books in a month because of that. And I sold it locally primarily, and I wrote a lot of this book at our local coffee shop. So the guy that's the owner said, we have to sell your books here, because everyone's seen you write it. So he helped me out a lot.
Neat. Yeah, and I think just getting it out there and doing the legwork is
right.
That's...
And in another life, he was a graphic artist, and he actually came up with the book cover for the first book. It's a little start, but his view was that after he read it in the manuscript form, he said, I want you to show what it looked like when they were doing bombing and stuff in Ireland, which is what it shows. So,
And how about the cover for the second one?
The cover for the second book was my idea. It's actually of an actual wall in Belfast, Ireland, to show what the peace zones were like.
Oh.
And so I wanted, because most of this book occurs in Belfast, so I wanted to give a visual image of what it looks like when people live in Belfast.
And was the book cover part of that package, the hybrid?
Yes, that was part of the package for the hybrid. Yeah. The image was one of those free images you could find out on the net. So, and then we obviously had to modify it to make it into a book cover. But once it's a free image, you can do that.
When I did my book, I just took CreateSpace has their own book cover creator.
Sure. Right.
And they're not bad.
You're braver than I was.
And it was okay, but it just was almost something, too boxy or whatever.
Oh.
And finally, I took the book cover and I went to Fiverr. You ever heard of Fiverr?
Sure, yeah, right.
And I contacted somebody who's, I would say, contract out. And I think I ended up spending $50.
Oh, that's not bad.
But it was a much better cover.
Sure.
And comparatively, $50, that's a good price, I felt.
Yeah, that is a good price.
And the covers, they're not the end-all and be-all, but they're pretty important to have an attractive cover.
That's exactly right. And did they tell you about the spine? Did you worry about the spine?
No, they didn't say anything.
Okay.
But so about the spine of being
well,
big
now in CreateSpace, we didn't talk about spine at all. But with the assistant publishing, she was insistent that she wanted different colors, and she was okay with the black background as long as we had green and white. Because then when you see it on a shelf like this, it's going to stand out more. And I had never thought about that. So another one of those tricks of the trade.
Yeah, and that's another advantage I think of going with a hybrid. CreateSpace is good for low capital, but you're not gonna. Nobody's gonna. Maybe they do with the packages too. Like you get the professional packages, they'll tell you that your book has to stand out in the bookstore.
Right.
This is what they're seeing.
Mostly, because most of us aren't going to get a picture in the bookstore that's like this.
It's not sitting on the top shelf facing out.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
All right. Well, I won't take up any more time.
All right.
Hopefully you go back to sell your book, but thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom. I'm impressed with talking to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you for watching. If you'd like to be on Author Showcase, please contact us on our Facebook page or at OshkoshAuthorShowcase@gmail.com. Otherwise, continue the conversation with Dixie and Tom via social media. Look for Dixie by searching for Daisy Jericho, and please check out her books, The Love Thief and Sparks Fly, on Amazon. You can find Tom Cannon on many types of social media, and please check out his book on Amazon, The Towel of Apathy. Our goal is to introduce local authors around Oshkosh and hear their stories. We want to thank the Oshkosh Public Library and the Friends of Oshkosh Public Library for supporting the creation of this show. If you are a writer and are looking for a community, we suggest the Oshkosh Area Writers Club and the Lakefly Writers Conference held each May.